Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Neeli Kumari and I am a student at Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, Bangalore. The subject for this presentation is Introduction to Python Programming. Today we will learn some basic concepts of Python. At first, we will cover an introduction to the Python programming. Next, we will learn about different data types, functions, and exception handling. Finally, we will implement a program called Guess the Number. What is Python? Python is a high level interpreted programming language known for its simplicity and readability. It supports multiple programming paradigms, including procedural, object oriented, and functional programming. Python is widely used in various fields such as web development, data analysis, and artificial intelligence. It's a great language for beginners due to its clear syntax and readability. Python's extensive library support and active community makes it a great choice for programming projects. Several integrated development environments support Python programming, including Visual Studio, PyCharm, Jupyter Notebook, and Atom. An integrated development environment is a software application that provides a comprehensive set of tools for software development. Now let's explore the different data types in Python. The data types include numeric, dictionary, boolean, sets, and sequential. Numeric data types consist of integer, float, and complex. Meanwhile, sequential data types are divided into list, tuple, and string. Let's go through numeric data types first. An integer is a whole number, positive or negative, without decimals of unlimited length. The keyword int represents the integer data type. Here, the variable I is assigned to a value of 10. Python automatically identifies 10 as an integer, so you don't need to declare the data type of the variable explicitly. The type function here returns the variable data type as the output. Moving on to float. A float represents a floating point number, a number with a decimal point. The keyword float represents the float data type. Here, the variable f is a floating point number. As we have already seen in integer data type, Python automatically identifies the variable f or 10.5 as a floating point number. Thus, the type function returns the output as float. A complex number is a number with a real and imaginary component. The keyword complex represents the complex data type. Variable c here is a complex number. In this example, 3 is the real component, whereas 5j is the imaginary component. A dictionary in Python is an unordered collection of key value pairs. The values stored in dictionaries can be fetched by using their keys. Dictionaries are represented using the keyword dict. In this example, the variable d is a dictionary. Dictionary contains three items. The keys in this dictionary are name, age, and city, and their corresponding values are John, 30, and New York. The Boolean or bool data type in Python is built-in that can take up one of the two values, either truth or false. These are very important in control flow for programming logic. Here, bool of 0 returns false because 0 is considered as falsy value in Python. On the other hand, bool of 1 returns true because 1 is regarded as truthy value. A set is also a built-in data type that can store multiple items in a single variable. Set items are unordered, unchangeable, and do not allow duplicate values. Here you can see the example where variable fruits is a set. One of the key features of set is that it automatically removes duplicate elements. In this example, even though apple was added in the set twice, it only appears once in the output because sets do not allow duplicate values. Let us see sequential data types now. A list in Python is a collection of items that are ordered and changeable. It allows duplicate members. It is important to note that the element of list are enclosed in square brackets. The variable L in this code refers to a list. In this particular instance, the list is made up of three items: a string, an integer, and another list. Note that a list can contain any sort of data, and they don't have to all be the same type. A tuple is a collection of items that are ordered and unchangeable. It allows duplicate members. The elements of tuples are enclosed in curved brackets or parentheses. In this example, the variable t is a tuple. The tuple contains three items, all of which are string. However, like a list, a tuple can contain any type of item. The key characteristic of a tuple is immutability, meaning that once it has been created, its values cannot be changed after it's defined, unlike a list. A string in Python is a sequence of characters. It is an immutable data type. The keyword str represents the string data type. The variable s is a string. Strings in Python can be enclosed in either single quotes or double quotes, and they are interchangeable. Coming to the functions. Python has a wide range of built-in functions that are readily available for use in programming. Some common built-in functions in Python include print function, len function, range function, input function, and type function. Print function in Python outputs text or other data to the console. In this example, kimchi is stored in the variable name. 25 is stored in the variable age. This print statement outputs the necessary details, whereas this statement will output as same as the previous example, but it uses a formatted pattern where the user have to insert the variable directly into the string. The len functions. In Python, to get the length of an object, len functions are used. It works on strings, lists, tuples, dictionary, sets, and other data types. In this code, the variable message stores string data type. The variable fruits store list data type, and the variable person stores dictionary as the data type. The statement println of message will output 13 because the string hello world has 13 characters, including spaces and the punctuation. The statement len of fruits will output 3 because the list contains 3 elements. In dictionary, a key value pair is considered as one element. Therefore, the length of the dictionary is 2. The range function in Python is commonly used in loops to control the number of iterations by generating a sequence of numbers. In this statement, the sequence starts from 0 by default and stops before 5. Thus, the output we get is as 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Similarly, in this statement, the sequence starts from 1 and stops before 5. Whereas in this statement, the sequence starts from 1, increments by 2 each time, and stops before 10. The range function can contain maximum of 3 arguments. Also note that the range function generates a sequence of numbers, but it does not include the last value or endpoint. The Python input function reads the text from the user. An optional string argument can be passed to display a prompt before the input. In this example, the program will wait for the user to enter something and press enter. Whatever the user will enter will be stored in the variable user input. In this statement, the program will display the prompt enter your name and then will wait for the user to enter something and press enter. The user's input will be stored in the variable name. To create custom functions in Python, one can use the def keyword. These functions are referred to as user-defined functions. The syntax for user-defined function is as shown. The function definition is given using def keyword followed by the function name followed by a colon. The user-defined function is called using the function name. User-defined functions are divided into four categories: function with argument and return value, function with argument but no return value, functions with no argument and no return value, lastly, function with no argument but a return value. The value which is passed into the function when it is called is known as argument. Here, x takes up the value as 4 and y takes up the value as 6. The return value is the result that the function sends back after it is completed. The value which is written from the function after it completes is stored in the result variable. Under the second category, only the arguments are passed into the function and no return statement is used. Here, a takes the value of 5 and b takes the value of 3. This function will add a and b and their sum is directly being printed without using any return statement. Here you can see there is no argument passed and no written statement is being used. Under the fourth category, no arguments are being passed into the function during the function call, but a value is written. Here, this written statement will return the square root value of 432, which will be stored in the variable sqroot. Exception handling in Python is done through the use of the try or except statement. The try block contains code that might throw an exception or an error. If that happens, the try block is exited and the except block is executed. In this example, trying to divide by 0 raises a zero division error. The except block catches this exception and prints a message instead of allowing the program to crash. The user can catch multiple exceptions by using multiple except blocks. Now let's see a fun program called Guess the Number. The program starts by importing the random module in Python, which provides functions for generating random numbers. Then the second statement generates a random integer between 1 and 10 using the randint function from the random module and assign it to the variable num. Guess is equal to none. This line initializes the variable guess to none. Then this line starts a while loop that will continue running as long as the user's guess is not equal to the randomly generated number. The user is then asked to input a number between 1 and 10, including 1 and 10, which is stored as a string in the variable guess. The int function converts the user input from a string data type to an integer type. Then condition is applied and it is checked whether the user's guess is equal to the randomly generated number or not. If the user's guess is correct, then a congratulatory message is printed and break statement is used to exit from the loop. If the user's guess is incorrect, appropriate message is printed and next iteration is started. All over, this code creates a simple number guessing game where the user has to guess a random number between 1 and 10, including 1 and 10. The game continues until user guesses the correct number. Now let's quickly run the program. Here you can see we successfully got the output. With this, I would like to conclude the video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay connected for further more videos.